Yeah, guten Morgen. Let's take a look first at TradingView. So yesterday, this is yesterday. Yesterday we had a rejection pre-market. We had a rejection going into the market open. And is this on the hour? Sorry, let me put this on the 15 so it's a bit more clear. All right, so sorry, here. Yesterday we had these rejections pre-market, and into the market open, we had another rejection here. I'm a little confused because I could have swore yesterday, or maybe this is how it looked on my TradingView. On Thinkorswim. I could have swore this was the breakout of the line, but looking on TradingView, it clearly didn't break out of that descending line. But on Thinkorswim, maybe it was on SPY, it looked like that. No, it wasn't on SPY. And it wasn't on ES. I don't know. I could have swore we formed this supply just above the line, but I guess I was wrong. My memory must have been messed up. But as of right now, it looks like we're trying to finally break out of that line. I'm gonna bring back TradingView. So yeah, I believe Adam Mancini said 4118 was a good bounce spot. We bounced just above that at this trend line here, and this trend line, I don't remember. Yeah, it's just this line here. Not exactly a clean, reliable trend line, but whatever, it bounced there. I'm more interested in this cluster of supports here, and also this March low, although I did adjust this earlier this morning to coincide with this drop and here. So anyways, from about 3 a.m. we've been slowly grinding up, and let's go ahead and read Adam Mancini's tweet. All week, my key support in ES was 4135, and no surprise where we are now, 4135, pinned here for day number 8 in a 50-point range, tightest chop in years. All dips below 4135 are a trap. Plan today, 4130 to 4135 first support, 4118 next support. 413035 keeps, then we're going to hit 4148, 4152, which we're almost approaching 4148 right now, which I guess is coinciding with this, and 4152 right about here. If we can pass this point, then I believe 4178 is next. I believe bears don't fully have control unless they can break it below 4118. I would even argue 41112 to really get a sell going. So let's take a look at VIX. Although I did earlier take a look at it, and I've got nothing from VIX. What I don't understand, which is confusing me, is you saw how we're pushing and rallying on excuse me. Sorry, on SPY. Actually no, it's obvious. This is dropping because we're rallying. Sorry, my brain's not braining. I removed the line that I had here not long ago. Let me go ahead and just maximize this and put this to 1030. I had a descending line here, but I removed it because it just seems to be irrelevant at this point. I've tried to find another pattern, but I see nothing right now except for a channel here, But at this point, and it's not a very clean looking channel here, so, and even if I did draw this one, we're already broken down below it. So I don't see anything. Not a head and shoulders, not a megaphone, not a flag, nothing. But I guess this is not surprising, being that it's been so choppy the past couple days. So I still think maybe it's probably best for me not to trade the rest of this week. Maybe on Friday I might try trading after 11:30. Sorry guys. I'm just frustrated with what I typed earlier. It's just, the situation is untenable. So 414 was at 18 bucks yesterday. I'm curious what it's going to be when the market opens. Oh, 20, 30 bucks. All right. These long wicks here on SPY don't appear the same on ES. So man, ever since I've been up, something in the air is making me cough more and more. I feel like I'm breathing in little shreds of metal or something. Well, the drop in VIX, this sudden push here, the wicks here on SPY, makes me think this might be one of those days where you want to go long, and we might start finally making our push. But I see no demand zones formed or retested. God bless it. I had the inclination to just go long at this option, seeing if we can scalp $10, $15, $20 if we actually push above here. But now that I think about it on TradingView, we technically are now rejecting at the line. So perhaps I should consider the opposite and take a short. Could it be that we're going to get a strong rejection from this line again, like we did yesterday and the day before? I remember yesterday the same thing happened. This green arrow indicating heavy buying volume coming in was there, yet this candle kept growing red, down, down, down. So let's take a hypothetical put. Let's take a hypothetical put at 410. Oh, look, heavy volume here. Wow. I mean, heavier than usual. Oh, this is on, sorry, put it back to a 15. I had it on 30. Could this be the one day where bulls finally turn it around and push this up? By the way, let's see how inaccurate this is. We're currently at 4142, which means that this is not 4145, this is actually 4143. What's with this long wick? When did it get down here? I bet you nothing like that shows up on... Oh, it looks like it did. I don't recall this dropping down this low. I see no point of resistance or bounce on VIX, so it's funny how different the trend line shows in each chart. But then again, this is Thinkorswim, so I guess that's par for the course. But on TradingView, and I'm pretty confident with where my lines are on TradingView, we're rejecting from exactly that trend line. I am curious about taking a put with a tight stop loss, maybe no more than a few dollars. But as of right now, its price is being pushed up. Well, what may happen before this candle closes is we're going to get a hard push one way or the other. Another reason why I'm reluctant to take this long, though, is because unlike yesterday when we were selling, look, yesterday we were having the rejection and we just kept going down. The trajectory of the price overall was going down. Here, we're having strong buy, and overall trajectory is up. Also, we're going down on the VIX. So yeah, perhaps a put is not the wisest course of action, and a long is better. Of course, now that I switch to a long, it's going down. But I don't know. This thing's all over the place. I'll keep playing the video at least until this candle closes, and then we'll see what the next candle looks like. I have about 7 more minutes. I still just don't get these long wicks on SPY. I remember back in 2020, when I first was dabbling in options trading, I tried doing options for Lockheed Martin, which, as you might imagine, has very low volume. And I didn't really do trend lines, but I tried to find levels, and I'll be like, okay, Lockheed Martin had a pretty good bounce at this day and this month. So I'm going to put an alert, and if it gets down there, I'll try and buy an option for a call because it should bounce again. I don't know what logic I was following, but that's my theory. And I would often put a buy limit and then leave to go train a client. And I remember I had put a buy limit for like $30 for a call option, like 2 of them. And I went to go train a client, and I came back home, and even though price went down to the level, even just below my buy-in, my fill order wasn't, well, filled. My buy order wasn't filled. And I was so annoyed. And the next morning, sure enough, it rose, and it went from $30 to $300. And I think one of the reasons why I like doing Lockheed Martin is that it would have these pretty strong moves, especially for some reason back in 2020. I don't know what it was, but it would have these strong moves. But one thing it also had, their options would very often have these spikes, like you would whatever, like it'll be 18 and then suddenly it'll jump up to like 150, 200, and then it will pop back down, and later on in the day it'll jump up again to 200, 300 and pop back down. And it didn't make sense to me. I mean, it wouldn't show those numbers unless someone's actually selling it at those levels, right? These numbers aren't just accidents. These are actual purchases that are being done, sales, purchases, whatever. Oh, look, it looks like we would have done right. We would have done well if we went, going short might have been the answer, but who knows? It's going to turn around now at any moment. But anyway, so yeah, Lockheed Martin burned me more than a few times. What? Yeah, we were using this one, right? The 414. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not trading today anyways. But yeah, other what is the phrase? The instrument? It's not just stocks. There's options, and then I keep forgetting the phrase for stocks, but it's not stocks. It's a different phrase. I don't remember the phrase, but at one point I started liking Pinterest because back in 2020, Pinterest was pushing. I even foolishly tried Coca-Cola because it seemed to always be in a range between like $24 and $34. And I thought it would be more predictable as a result, but it really wasn't. And the volume was very low. It wasn't until a while after I realized that the option that has the highest liquidity typically is SPY. And it wasn't until a while later, thanks to Adam Mancini, that I learned that SPY typically follows ES. So, but in the here and now, I've realized options are kind of crappy to trade, and futures is the better way to go. Unfortunately, to trade futures, as I've said before, you need to have some decent money. You need to have the margin in your account to trade the contracts. Anyways, so looking at VIX, this candle's going to close soon. We're clearly having a bounce here, which seems about confluent to yesterday's lows on VIX. So we have a clear turnaround here. And as a result, SPY is falling. And we have a supply that's formed here as a result. But the annoying thing is, whether you go long, well, if you went long, you're losing money. But if you went short, let's look at our 410 put again. I mean, unless you went short right at the bell, you're only going to get $10 on 1, 100 on 10. But I say that, and this still could fall. We still have 2 more minutes, so it's still possible that the bulls can slip up and this can start to finally drop. And this will go from 35 to maybe 40, 50. If I had put my buy in like around 28 and put the sell at 38, maybe I could have scalped the 10 bucks there. But I just see it as too risky of a trade for just $10. And this is truly a terrible week to trade. Unless you're doing futures, then yeah. One could have taken the swing. Let's go to ES. One could have taken a swing on yesterday's drop here. Demand was formed, retested. And I guess, yeah, if you're bold, you can take a swing and have your stop loss below here, which could have been kicked in here actually. Another demand was formed here, retested, and then rally. Yeah, I mean, if you put a buy in somewhere down here after market, you saw this supply, I mean this demand being made, and you decided to put a buy in right at this level, you would have been filled here at 330. And I mean, you would have sold here at the trend. Why wouldn't you? Why would you not sell here? Maybe you have a couple of runners, which would probably be already sold now if you raised your stop loss, and you're done. Between here, you got 4122 to 4144, a 20 plus point win. Walk away. Again, I have no idea how much that would give you on one contract of ES. I'm tempted to go look it up right now, but I'm not going to because I think I said I was going to stop the video after the next candle, and here we are. So supply is officially formed, and I guess once again the bulls are trying to push this up, but this could get retested here. This would be a good spot for a retest and then drop, but we may not even get up there. Looks like it's already going down. So I could have gotten in here at 30 and see if this will drop. But again, the problem with trading this week is that there's no follow through in either direction. Price is moving achingly slow. The range is very tight. And in terms of options, especially ODTE options, it doesn't even matter if it's in the money or not. You're not making these tiny moves. It's not going to give you any real profit. I mean, let's look if we bought a 412 put, and let's say we decided to go short here at the beginning of this candle. So we would got, let's say we could have gotten in at 90, or we got 10 bucks here. But even if somehow we got in at the next candle at 80 and then decided to sell at 100, I mean, yeah, it's 20 bucks. But what a big risk, man. But I can't play with these kind of options because I don't have the funds for it. But yeah, there we go. It looks like a short would have been the way to go. Oh, it wasn't this one. It was the 410. And we're at VWAP on ES. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'll be back later. Oh, it looks like I was we would have made up pretty good on a hypothetical short. This sell really kicked in here. So we went from 30 to almost 60. So yeah, I should have taken that short. we would have had a nice repeat of Monday. And we've lost 4132 support on ES. Once we dropped below VWAP, that's when the sell really started. And we could have sold at 60. So we could have gotten in. I should have gotten in earlier. Back here when we're pushing up here. Put a tight stop loss like I said. So if I could have gotten in at 28.27 and had a stop loss at like 25, it would never have been filled. Or we can set our sell at the high 50s or 60. And it would have been a $30 profit for the day. That would have been very nice. And then I would be back where I was after I took 70 bucks out the account to help pay the rent earlier this month. Which then I guess means I'm about $15 away from where I was before. So yeah. Should have taken that short, but what are you gonna do? Now I have to eat my words on the in the money option, because if we did take the 412 put, if we could have afforded it, remember I said if we got in hypothetically at 80, one could have sold. Did it reach 160? Yeah. Maybe you could have put 160 as the sell, and that's an $80 profit right there on one option. Not bad. Alright, this video is long enough for the first part of the day. Alright, even more of a slap in the face. Look, it's dropping even further. So yeah, guys, I messed up. I definitely should have taken this short this morning when I thought about it. Should have taken a short at the bell, to be honest. I mean, this was basically the market giving me an absolute repeat of Monday. And if I could have gotten in under 30, which there are plenty of opportunities, and held up until this point, this would have been a nice $30 plus win on one option. Now mind you, if I could have gotten in under 30, maybe right when the market opened, I could have gotten in with two options. And who knows how much further this is going to drop. Right now we're at 4126, so once again, this is wrong. Because I have 4128 here. Wow, man. Just wow. Look at this. I even put, hold on. I put the exact numbers here, 4128.12. And right now we're at 4127. Which is obviously below 4128. So here's a beautiful example of how the levels I enter on SPY change over time. They're not the same. I'm beginning to wonder if it's even worth typing these levels down, unless I do it the day of. This is absolutely not 41328. Man. So yeah, I had considered there's a possibility we may end up bouncing here. So if we created demand here, I don't know, it's possible. But anyways, Adam Mancini just tweeted, let me read this. The 4135 pin in ES continues for day number 8. May need until after OPEX to break. So yeah, it's possible that we may chop the rest of this week. And every day for the last week has seen a flush under 4135 that then reclaims with all pops above, below the level trapping. Meaning if you try and take it short, if we lose 4135, you better sell really quick because it might turn around at any moment. 4130.35 testing now, needs above 4135 to see 4148.53. 4118 sell trigger below 4130. So the last ditch support is 4118. Where that would be in relation to SPY, the heck if I know, because all my levels are off. But yeah, unfortunately, I should have taken this short this morning and just held and taken the tight stop loss. It would never have been filled. This would have been a nice profit for the day. One thing though is, for now, on SPY, we've just formed a demand. On VIX, we just formed a supply. So this could be the turnaround. Also on ES, it doesn't show very much on SPY, but on ES, we formed a clean demand at about 330, which made this rally here. And now we've just formed a demand slightly above that demand. And it could be a sloppy looking head and shoulders right now, inverse head and shoulders. So this could be the time to go long. At what level, I don't really know. So the bulls are trying now to reclaim 4130 successfully. And we have a lot of ifs that need to happen. If this candle can close with a decent looking demand pattern, so it needs to maybe close at or above 4130. And if we can get a little bit of a retest, and if the inverse occurs on VIX, then we may go long with a buy-in of maybe 36, 37, I guess. And if we can recover half of this loss here, then we can get up to maybe 60. But again, we're only 5 minutes into this candle, so we have 10 minutes before this closes. Then there's also the possibility, like yesterday this happened, where before this candle closes, this thing would just rocket up. But remember, yesterday this happened, we had a sell, a big strong sell. Then we started off with a demand, and just before that candle closed, that demand switched and turned around with a long wick above and a big sell. So that's also a possibility. And that's the thing about OPEX week, it can pop in any direction. So remember yesterday, same thing that played out yesterday. Looked like we're about to break out above the descending trend. We formed a supply. It wasn't even retested like it was today, and we just dropped hard. Then, around 10 o'clock, we started forming a demand. This entire wick was one strong green candle. And then right before the candle closed, big sell, and it dropped. Then we formed another demand, which was retested. But if you took this long, you would just be chopped up all the way up until 12:30 when we finally made the second high of the day, and that was it. But I'm saying all this now, and look, we're pushing now. rejecting at VWAP. Yeah, we'll do the same thing. 7 more minutes, 8 more minutes till this candle closes. We'll wait to see if the demand forms, retest, then we'll take it long. Oh, let's see what this has to say. It's the same thing. I love how every article that's put up, there's more thumbs down than thumbs up. I can't see this one, but I bet you there's more thumbs down. It's just interesting. Humans today are such pessimistic, miserable people. Every article, oh, except this one, is almost even. Oh yeah, plenty of, why? Oh well, people like food. Well, I don't see why. I don't know why anyone would thumbs up this. Anyways. Could this be a repeat of yesterday? We had a strong green candle, then suddenly it just turns into a big wick, and then suddenly it turns into a big sell. Oh, on VIX, we broke above the daily, and now it looks like we broke below, which was good for bulls, but now it's pushed back above the daily again. Alright, 5 minutes till this closes. Let's see if we get a retest and see how that retest reacts. Ideally, what I would love to see is this candle close, form a strong demand. Let's put it back on ES. We close at or above 4132. Then we get a quick sell down to 4130, maybe dip below it. Maybe I can get in at, I'll be lucky if I can get in at 38.40. And then it can turn around and pop back up, and I'll happily sell and take a 10 profit. I prefer 20, but yeah, I'm gonna wait till this candle closes. Sorry guys, hold on. We've made it below daily again on VIX. Sometimes I wonder if it's just better as soon as you see what looks like a possible demand to form to go long. And I've tried backtesting that, but usually whenever I do that, it's sort of 50-50, because it may start out looking like a demand and then just fail. So I think the reason why it's better to wait for the candle to close and then get retested is it's the edge is better. It's a better chance that it will get retested and push back up, if that makes sense. There's a higher likelihood that once it looks like a demand is forming that it would fail than there is a likelihood that a demand does form and then fails after the fact, if that makes sense. The only problem with the strategy though is that after the demand is formed and we get to the next candle, there's no guarantee it'll get a retest, one. And number two, you have to kind of guess how much of a retest is going to be, because it could, and this has happened, you guys have seen this happen. This candle closes, we have a strong demand form, and then we have a retest, and it goes below the demand. But eventually it ends up closing back above. So we'll end up having a wick going well below the previous demand. But because it closed above the demand zone has not been invalidated. So it's still technically in effect. The problem is if you get in just above the demand zone and you use a stop loss, then your stop loss is going to get kicked in. That's the problem. Also, from a technical standpoint, it's simple. Bulls want to reclaim 4135, which they almost did. Bears don't want them to. So there's going to be a strong tug of war right here. And as Adam Mancini mentioned, we've been pinned just above or just below for the past 8 days. All right, one more minute left. Of course, all that means if this candle closes as it is that we formed a demand. Again, the next part, which is the tricky part and the hard part for me, is the pullback. And there's been many times where I would get in long right now, which I would hate to do because that's most of my account, and then get faked out. It looks like it's about to push up, and then it turns around. So I think in this case, we're going to wait to see how far back of a pullback we get. And if it turns around and leaves without me, then so be it. Interestingly, on VIX, we're back above the daily again. Which I don't mind. I would like to see the VIX go back up and retest the supply that it had formed. Then this would mean this would be going back down. But as you can see, that's not happening. And ironically, we're at VWAP and both, no, sorry, this is ES as well. I didn't want to look at SPY. But yeah, here we see a rejection at SPY right now. I mean, sorry guys, VWAP. So we may not get the retest after all. Looks like I would have had to have gotten in here when this pushed back down right before the candle closed. In the mid 40s maybe. But if I had, I could at least sell in the mid 50s if I had done that, but that's not the strategy. The strategy is to wait for the candle to close and see if there's a retest. For a moment we cleared below the daily on VIX, but we're back above it now, which is what I want to see. I want to see a retest of the supply. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This was the supply that formed. I want to see a retest of that level and then a subsequent rejection, so it drops. So therefore, we would get a retest of the demand zone and then a bounce. And again, here's the question. How far back do we let it go before we go in? Now for the MK strategy, they have a simple rule. And I haven't looked at his 112 strategy yet. You draw your demand and you do 10 cents above, but they don't do 15, they do 5 minutes. So since I've modified theirs from the 5 minutes to the 15, I decided to do 20 minute. So our demand zone will be here. Oh, but they also do this on SPY. So, but whatever. Let's just focus here on ES. Approximately the point where you want to get in is maybe like around here. But see, 45 might have been the spot where we should have gotten in, because we may not get the pullback that we want. And then we will set our sell at 55 just to grab whatever profits we can get. The risk though is that you might buy in at 45 and then it just continues going back down. I also dislike that we're just below VWAP. And we have that daily on VIX. That's why I wanted to see a larger pullback here, so we can get in maybe at the low 40s. Then when we come back up to VIX, we can sell at the 50s. And we still have 9 minutes till this candle closes. And again, this is OPEX week. You can see there's just very little follow through, just very slow grinding moves. Other than this right here, this big sell that happened. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to get our retest. But I don't want to speak too soon. We still have time. It's still possible, I mean. But again, ideally, if this can push back down here and then test maybe even exactly this spot and then come back up, I think at that point it'll be worth around 40 bucks. Then if we can turn around and get a strong pop back up to 60, maybe even 70, that would be ideal. But it looks like that's not happening. Looks like the bulls are already going to run it. And had we gotten in at 45, then we can sell here at 55 and just take 10. If we had gotten in at 45 at more than one option, we can sell at 55, take 10, and then we can have our break even on the last option at like 35, so we can give ourselves some room just in case it runs. But I mean, why would you do that? Just put the stop loss at 45 and so you don't lose your 10. But if bulls manage to push this higher, then you can keep the other option and make more money. Yeah, it would have been better if we had gotten in here at 45 and then sell at 55, even 56, taken a good solid 10 profit for the day and just been done. I would say to make profit on a choppy day like today would be pretty good. Of course, the best trade would have been the one from this morning. That's the one we should have taken. Yeah. The only pullback we got was, when did this candle start again? 10:15. Yeah. This was the pullback that we should have gotten in. So if we could have gotten in at 45 and held just a little bit longer, this may even pop above VWAP, make it past 4135, and this might get to 65, maybe even higher. So that's the problem, is when do you get in? And it's funny, ironically, as I was talking about it, that's as low as it got, 45. And now we've broken below daily on VWAP. I mean, sorry man, VIX. I can't get all my terms. And there it is. There's the push. Almost made it to 65. So there it is. If we had gotten in here and set our sell at 65, which I'm pretty sure is going to hit soon, that would have been a good play. There we go, 66. That's the problem with the strategy, is, yeah, you can say, you know what, we're only going to follow these rules and we'll only play it if these conditions occur. I guess that's fine, but if you don't have any flexibility and you're not willing to adjust the rules a bit, then you're leaving profits on the table. And I think making 20 out of a $45 trade is pretty damn good. It's just under 50% profits on the investment. Or again, if I said if you went with two options at 45, sold one at 55, sold the other one at 65, then you've made 30 bucks right there. And $30 on a $90 option or investment isn't bad either. That's 30% profits. But anyways, so yeah, you guys saw me miss out on this one. And what was this? This was 30, right? Well, I couldn't do both of these. It would have to be one or the other. But there's the opportunities there. Even on a choppy day like today, you saw we could have taken a trade. Supply was formed, could have taken that short. Demand was formed, could have taken that long. But anyways. All right, one quick update before I leave. I had considered taking this long, but I don't like taking a retest of a previous resistance, assuming it's going to now be support. At least not right away. Maybe if we flag for a bit and then retest it. But I thought if I had and gotten a 54, I could sell at 64, but we didn't really get much higher, as you can see, and we ended up forming a supply. And this candle is about halfway through now. So if bulls don't push this back above, we would have formed a supply and a demand on VIX, and that's not good. So if we had originally gone long here at 45 and sold at 65, we would have been better, because this never made it to 70. So it looks like opportunity to go short here, along here, but we're going to chop for a bit. Bulls don't want to lose 4135, right? Bears don't want them to get above the next level, and bears are going to try to keep them, or try to get them to lose, excuse me, 4135. So yeah, looks like the rest of this week is just going to be like this. So, all right, this is going to be a tough task. All right, here we go with another update. So it turns out, not only should I have went long earlier today, but if I had held it, this would have been a massive profit, because as you can see now, we're just rallying. And of course, this is happening now because I got an assignment, like I mentioned in my last video, which is something I've never done before, which is par for the course, with instructions that do not explain what I need to do properly, and with examples that do not help me do the task properly. And I need to figure out things like when the case was issued, who the opposing counsel is, all of these things, and I'm not quite sure how to do it, but as usual, I have to figure it out. So frustrating. But remember how I was saying how I was debating about taking 4135 as a support long, but I don't like doing it so early? Well, looks like I should have done it. Because if I had gotten in the low 50s when we bounced at 4135, even at 11 o'clock candle, I could have gotten in here. I mean, it would have taken almost my entire account. But look at this pop. And if I set my sell at 4148, which is our next level of resistance, just below, could have easily made like 70 bucks. Just an absolute slap in the face, man. But look, interestingly, just as quickly as we popped out of the resistance and hit our next level, quick rejection. So yeah, it turns out today gave ample opportunities for a good trade. And if you were doing futures and you went long earlier, like I said, at either 315 or maybe just before the market opened, when we got this dip below, which this, I'm pretty sure Adam Mancini is going to say this is a fake breakdown of the 4132 level. All right, one more update, and again, just an absolute slap in the face. After this big sell-off right here, that occurred while I was still on the phone. Actually, though, this happened after. I was actually on the phone for business, but I was on the phone for something personal later on. But by then, it was too late for me to act on this. You can see we pushed down and sold right back to 4132, 4135 area, and we pushed all the way back down to 40. Right? This is the big slap in the face, and this happened at, what is this, 11:22, and I think that's when I was on my, yep, it was exactly 11:20 that I got the call for work. How ironic is that? It seems like the more busy I am at work or whenever I'm distracted, that's when the market makes a big move. So it came all the way back down to 40, where I could have gotten in. I wouldn't doubt that this made a 5 minutes demand. Let's see. Not really, but clearly a fake breakdown of the 4135, 4132 area and a quick recovery, meaning I could have gotten in in the mid 50s, low 50s if possible. And here we are now at over $100 for the option. 50 bucks could have been made here if I was able to actually focus on the trade. Tell me that's not an ironic slap in the face, man. Oh well, hopefully there'll be other opportunities that I can catch. Yeah, this is turning out to be a shitty, well, I just messed up the YouTube video. You know what, doesn't matter. I just discovered that for reasons I don't understand, my Instagram account won't come up on a search. And by just swearing, I've just probably made it so that this video won't come up in the search either. I don't know, but it's that kind of a day. I'm beyond frustrated. Look at this. Just an absolute rally. It's an absolute rally now. And here we go. Okay. I'm sorry, where was I? This is really a frustrating day so far. So yeah, here we go. A small drop this morning, created a demand, retested. We went up to first resistance, had a big sell, came right back down to the level that was supposed to hold. And this is where I was thinking before I got interrupted by this phone call. I was thinking that we are flagging. Let me pull up TradingView and show you. We're flagging just above resistance. When I saw this, I realized, you know what? There's a chance that we might start to rally. And our target is 4158. That was Adam Mancini's ultimate target. I need to go look on SPY, figure out where 4158 would be on SPY, and then figure out the subsequent option that I would pick. Or, just to save time, I should just pick a further out strike, like 415 or something. Well, I'm looking at this, you can tell 415 is too far out. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. It probably would have worked. It would have went from $8 to $22. But 414 would have been the better strike. So here, before that rally began, while it was flagging right here, I could have gotten in at $15, $12, whatever, for a couple options. And look, just banged up to the high 50s. So easily $100 could have been made right here, or close to it. Basically, it seems like whenever the phone rings and I'm getting interrupted, I should just go ahead and just buy an option. I should just have the button ready and just buy. Because I got interrupted with a phone call here at this sudden drop and then rise. And then interrupted with a phone call here on this rally. Completely unnecessary phone calls as well, by the way. Incredible, man. Just incredible. So yeah. If I had stuck with the original option that I wanted to use, which was, what was it, 412. There it is, the 412. When we got back down to 40. If I could have gotten in here at that 40, or if I got back in down here where I said, although honestly, if I did, I would have sold by now. But if I had gotten back in here and held the entire day, this would have been well over $100 option. I mean, look, it just hit almost 200 bucks. And here's the beauty of it. Look at the high. What do you see there? 4158. Exactly where Adam Mancini said it would go. Exactly where he said it would go. Let's look at his last tweet, because he sent a few and I haven't had a chance to update. Alright, so this one was 7 minutes ago. 4148 to 4153 target hit in ES. Today saw same price action as every day with the standard dip under 4135 trap and squeeze. 4148, 4153 was target here now. Major breakout point. But if long would still lock in part gains here. 4166 and 4175 is up next. So I have two options here. If this pulls back to previous resistance at 4148, maybe I can take that long. But I don't know. I'm just so fed up, man. Bro. And it's just ironic that today is the day that the chop finally ends. Dude, oh my god, dude. I can't. I'm just so fed up. Alright, here we go. This is probably an emotional trade, but I'm gonna go ahead and go long here at 20. Just one option. And we'll see if this pushes a little bit higher. I'm probably gonna end up losing money anyways. We're at a resistance on VIX. I don't know how strong of a resistance is going to be. Okay, we're breaking down that resistance. I'm just going to see if I can catch a small piece of the rally, if I can get at least that. So we're going to set our sell, or I might just do a, no, I won't do a sell market. I hate sell markets. I'm just going to see how far this will push. Next is 4168. So I don't know. Maybe it can push up a little bit higher. I don't know. Unfortunately, 4160 is a resistance, so we got to break past that. Alright, we've broken past resistance on VIX. We've broken past 4160. There it is. Alright. It wasn't much, but at least I caught a tiny piece of the move. And I'm now technically from the high I had at 125, and after removing that money, the $75, I'm about $9 short of where I was. So I've made up for most of my losses. I sold too early, guys. Look at that. It's still pushing. It might end up hitting 4168 already. So instead of making 10, I could have made 20. It's about to hit 40. This is also, by the way, guys, completely opposite of what's supposed to be happening seasonality. Then again, not really, because look, let's back it up to the 5. I forgot I even had this on the 5 minute. I forgot I had that. Let's go back to our normal 515. There it is. It's about to hit 40. So I could have made 20 bucks today, guys, and I just sold too early. But what's basically happening here is as Adam would call it, technical analysis 101. Since last week Wednesday, we've been stuck in this descending channel. And we had one rejection here on Thursday last week. We had a rejection here on Friday overnight. We had the rejection on Monday where we made our decent profits. We had a rejection yesterday pre-market, just before the market opened. And we had another rejection just this morning, right before market open or right at market open. But in each and every single one of these rejections, we get around anywhere between 4135 and 4112. We've managed to bounce. Every single sell, the bulls have brought it up. And today, we sold to flush below the 4130 key level. So it's between around 4128, 4135. And then we recovered. We hit our first resistance at 4148 for a hard sell. But immediately the bulls threw this back around. And this was the 412 strike I was looking at. So let's look at it again. So if one had gotten in here on this flush and got in like in the high 30s, low 40s, you're now $200 in profit for every option. So if we could have gotten in here and held it, we would have made 200 bucks today. Now, this breakout is great, but we still technically are not back to where we were last week, Wednesday. And I think that was the sell after CPI or FOMC. I don't remember which one it was. But this is what happens. We're below this trend and we finally break out. And now that breakout results in a subsequent rally. So as Adam says, it's technical analysis 101. And look where we're rejecting. Right where I had the resistance. So what did I use? 415? No, it was the 414. Which one did I use, guys, where I sold? It's got to be the 415. There it is. So it got to almost 40. Yep, got to 40. So I got in at 20. If I had held a little bit longer and put the sell exactly at this line, but then again, I didn't know if it was going to reject at this one or not. But if I had put the sell exactly at this line, I would have sold and made 40 bucks for the day. No, 20 bucks for the day. Anyways, at least I just feel better that I got a tiny piece of the move. Not great, but something. I actually considered if we get a pullback to 20, I was hoping we can get a pullback. What I was hoping is that this might come back down to here, 4153, or maybe it's here to this trend, and then come back up, and I would get in at 25. And if it continues to 4166, Adam's next target, then I can sell here at 50. I should have done it anyways. It pulled back to 30. I happened enough to get in here at 30. And I could have held and sold here at 50. So I could have gotten in again. Or better yet, no, I was going to say better yet, I should have held what I had before, my 20, and then added to my position. But once you have profits, you want to take it. Why would you not take it? But here we go. It's pushing. 4166, Adam Mancini's next target. And here's the beauty of scaling out. Remember our original target here. So let's say I got in down here where I wanted to. Remember when we were retesting the this is 15, yeah. We made our demand here. We were debating about going long here, but we were hoping for a bigger retest, but I discussed that there's a chance that wouldn't happen. And then if you went long, your target would be to sell here. But then we broke out of here, and we rallied up to our first resistance, and then there was a hard rejection. Bears knocked it back down. So if you were able to sell, if you were scaling out, right? Let's say you had 100 options. Let's say you got in at let's say we didn't get in at 45, but we got in at 50. So $5,000, 100 options at 50. We would have sold most of our options here at the breakout point here. Actually, no, when this broke, this just rallied up to here first. So we would have sold, we would have had a sell limit here, so most of them would have sold. Probably would have sold most of the rest there. So let's say 75% here, another 10% here. So we'll sell 75 of the 100 options here, and then another 10 options there. So we'll have 5 options left, right? No, 15. So 75 options sold here. Then we sold to the 80. Sorry guys, let's start this over. We get 100 options here. We sell 75 here. We sell 10 more here, so that's 85 in total. We still have 15 options left. By now you've made enough profit that you don't have to have a tight stop loss on those last 15. Boom, it sells all the way back down here. It's possible if you moved your stop loss up, you would have sold some here, but if you took the stop loss off, now that you've made your profit, you have those 15 options, so 15 times 50, whatever that is, I don't know. That's 750. So you have $750 left out of your $5,000 investment. Now, mind you, you've already made what's I don't know. I don't know what the prices are in each time you sold. I'm not really sure. But at this point, you can sell your last 15 options at the 4168 target if you didn't want to sell at the 4158 or whatever target. And look at that. That's 200. Let's say you sold it at 240. So that's $200 or 250 you sold. 250. So that's $200 times 15. That's the extra profit you would have made on your runners. So $200 times 15. So additional $3,000 made just on those last 15 runners. Man. What is interesting though is even though we've been pushing these last 15 minutes on VIX, VIX is coming up. This was the resistance I was talking about that when I took my trade. So we broke below it, but then came back up. But still, even though this was coming up, it still pushed it harder. Because remember, the option I took was the 415. And we pushed up to almost 60. I remember I sold at 30. I sold way early. I got in down here at 20 on a pullback. I don't know which one it was, but I got in at 20. I know for a fact it was 20 bucks. And here's the part that kind of makes me feel stupid. If I had gotten in two options at 20 bucks, so 40 bucks, and sold, if I didn't sell as early as I did, if I held and sold at 40 with one option to lock in $20 profit, I then held on to the other option, which even if it went to zero, I would still break even. So I wouldn't have to worry about a stop loss. And here, it popped back up. And if I had set the sell at 50, then I would have made another 30 bucks. So $50 for the day off a $40 investment, which is not bad. So anyways, yeah. It was basically a game of when it's going to pop. Adam Mancini said in his newsletter that he still felt positive that this was going to push through. And as usual, he's right. And it popped through. I thought it might not do it until Wednesday, but here we are. So here's the thing though. Let me go back to our ES. So we've popped out of here. And basically this thing should run up to where our last high was. So I think what's Adam Mancini's ultimate target? I keep reading and I keep forgetting. 4175. I'm still not sure why 4190 is the next target. Let's take a look at TradingView and figure out why that is. Let's go to the hour and see. This is the descending channel that we finally broke out of. Uh, 4190. Was this FOMC day? I think this was the FOMC. I'm not really sure, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why 4190 is significant. The 4175, I believe, is right here. You know what? I bet you 4190 is where he has the megaphone. I adjusted my megaphone to coincide with the rejection here. I think this was the FOMC rejection. No, I don't know when this rejection was, to be honest. Sorry. But I think the 4190 is the top of the mini megaphone. Yeah. Man, this is why I highly recommend you get Adam Mancini's newsletters. He said it. He said it. And I should have taken my trade earlier today. This would have been a very good day to make money. And I was just too hesitant. That 412 strike would have paid off dividends big time. I mean, heck, look at this. I got in at 20 and I sold too early. I scraped out $10, but if I held it to 60, I could have just made 40 bucks. But yet, instead of buying 120, I bought two and held both. If I was being greedy, could have made 80 bucks right now. Anyways, this video is already long enough as it is. Alright, this is the last update in a while because I gotta step away. I'm just so frustrated. Every target that Adam Mancini is given, the price has reached it, looked like it was gonna pause, and just kept pushing forward. Remember, we're now at $90. I bought this at 20 bucks and I sold it at 30. We're now at $90, guys. Yeah, and remember it pulled back and I thought about getting in. I could have gotten in. Wait, no. No, it was here. It pulled back down here to 30 and I thought about getting in. If I had, I would have doubled the account right now. It's just not slowing down. It's just pushing through. I mean, I don't know what the catalyst was that resulted in this. I need to look in SPY and see what this move is. We've gone from 412 to 415. I know 3 points doesn't seem like a significant amount, but relatively speaking, for the tight chop that we've been in, that's a lot. Still though, I kind of miss the monster rallies we had in 2020 and 2021 when SPY would be doing 20 points in one day. God, I remember, I'm reminiscing here, but I remember when I was too chicken to take the trades and I would look and I'd be like, oh, this option's now worth like $5. I should take it. But I was too scared to take a $5 trade. And that option will go from $5 to like $500 by the end of the day. Man. Look, we're at 4170. And look what I have here. Where did it peak at? It peaked at 4171.72. And here I have 4182. So I'm 10 points off here. Good Lord. 4170. All of this is just off. This is wrong. This is wrong. Good man. I've got to figure out a way to set this to fix this. I don't even know what this actually is. This is probably more like 4165. I'm just gonna put 4166 for now. And again, we peaked at, I'm trying to, you know what, let's go to ES here and look. And put it on a 1 minute. I just love how it's rejecting right at my weekly. 4172. So we got to 4172.5. So let's move this up slightly. And adjust this so it's completely off. 4171.50. Oh look, I added the points, the cents to it. So at some point when I put this number in, it actually was 4181.50 at some point. It was, I actually put the exact number. So yeah, man, over time the levels on SPY are off. I mean, this is by almost 10 points. Speaking of which, since this is so close to the weekly, I need to make this. But you know what? What's the point? Because if I bold this with the expectation saying, hey, this is equivalent to the weekly level on ES, a week from now, this is going to be off by 10 points. And the one thing I've noticed is that every time I put a level on on SPY, as each day goes by, the level becomes lower. Like if today this is 471, right? 2 weeks from now, this might be 4161 when SPY, if ES returns back to that level again. That's really interesting. I'm trying to wrap my mind around why that is, and I can't figure it out. I bet you there's a really simple reason. I'm just too stupid to figure it out right now, but I don't know. I still think though it's cool that we're rejecting at this weekly. So imagine you're like, hey, it's a daily here. I'm gonna go long, and then I'm gonna sell it the weekly. Anyways, I just realized I've been stuck at the computer. I haven't had a chance to go shower or anything all morning, and I haven't eaten. I'm just chugging a smoothie, but I just can't pull myself away. Look, again, I got in at 20. I could have gotten back into the pullback at 30, and now we've just hit over 100. And 4176 has just been hit. Or I think 4175, or was it 4176 was Adam Mancini's next target. It was 4175. As usual, right on the money. Right on the money. So if you got in big time around 4130 or on a recovery here, and you started scaling out, you're still getting profit. I cannot believe I got in at 20 and we just hit 102 and I sold at 30. I guess because I'm so frustrated that I missed out on the original option I wanted to get in at 412. But still, despite my frustrations, the reality is, if I got in down here at 40, that's still my entire account. I would have sold early already. So either way I look at it, the only way I can take advantage of this full move is to have enough of a position that I can slowly scale out little by little. But remember the example I gave earlier where you could have sold at let's say you got in at 5,000, so 100 options at 50, and you sold your last trailing ones at 250, and I mentioned how you could make an extra $3,000. Imagine if you didn't sell your last 15 at 250, you only sold another 10, and you held your last 5 options, your last 5 positions until 350, making an additional 1,500. Sorry, I gotta take the task again. Alright, we've been pulling back for the past 45 minutes about. We created a supply and a supply here on SPY or ES and a demand on VIX. However, yep, it's already happening. We got down to 50, 45, and I actually debated about going in with a tight stop loss. It was risky, thinking that we might bounce at this point and then pop back up. And if I had done it, if I had gotten in at maybe 50, I could have sold here at over 60 just to make a squeeze, a quick 10 more. But I'm curious if that's because we still have another 90 plus minutes left in the market. We still can push higher to the next target, which is going to be 4190. 20 points away from where we are now. So I considered the possibility of going along. Wait, you know what? Never mind. I'm such a moron. I completely forgot. Since I made the earlier trade, I don't have the funds to get in. I would need this to pull back at least to 35 to get back in. So never mind. I'm looking at my total funds and forgetting that that's not what I have right now. That's just my total funds. It's not what's available to trade. Which is, the one thing I can't stand about Thinkorswim demo, aside from the fact that it's slow, delayed, and buggy as hell, is you can't change the parameters of your trading rules. Thinkorswim gives you 100,000 to play around with, and I don't like that. I would rather you be able to change the parameters so you can Start off with 50 bucks, and you can also change the rules of trading. So you can put PDT rules if you want, or you can put a cash account like mine. So if whatever trades you've made for that day, you can't trade anymore if you finished up the account, to give it more realism. I mean, I suppose you can apply those rules to yourself, but unless you remember the rules and follow them, as opposed to the computer doing it for you, saying, you know, hey, no, you can't take this trade because you've used up your account amount, or you've used your three PDTs for the week. God, I hated that PDT, man. That was so annoying. But here, yeah, if I could have gotten in, if I had the funds and I could have gotten in at 50, we're now at 65. And I think this is probably the furthest is going to pull back for now. And the reason why I say that also is if you look on VIX, this was a resistance earlier. We broke through it. Now, or I should say a resistance for the fall. Now it could be a rejection point where we can turn it. Well, it is right now. It's actually rejecting now. And we can turn around and push back down and then push lower than this previous level. But we've seen this before. This could happen also. SPY can continue, ES can continue to rally while we simply chop between these two levels. So this can happen as well. And it can continue to go up as VIX chops sideways. But look at that breakout. And I've said it before many times. When we have a breakout of a multi-day pattern, it's going to be a pretty big breakout. And yeah, again, we reached a low of 410 today, and we just reached a high of 415 on SPY. 5 points. You can make a lot of money on an options trade, ODTE, on 5 points. I think 6 points, you can go from $10 to like $500, something like that. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. We chose the 412. Remember this morning? It was as low as $35, and it just hit a high of 388. So what is that? Is that 1,000%? Like 1,000% increase in the value. But anyways, let's go back to our 415. I don't want to do 416 because I don't know if, well, maybe it's possible. It's possible. I didn't think of that. If we bounce here, but it has to be a strong bounce and it has to start really pushing because we're getting close to that point where this is going to be worth nothing. The theta decay is going to be severe. So if we don't push hard into the 416 territory, this is going to be worthless. So we'll have to make a new high. So it's a bit risky. Actually, it's very risky. Not a bit. It's very risky. Because this thing can easily go from, right now it's $18 to $1 if this just pushes down a little bit. Still, my gut tells me we're not going to go any lower than here. My gut tells me this is going to pop. And we're going to reject at that spot in VIX I just showed. So let's take a hypothetical trade. Screw it. Hypothetically, we just got in here at 18. I was going to say 17 instead. You know me, I'm always anal about trying to catch the bottom. So let's say we're in 18. A couple options. We have our stop loss at 15 to risk whatever we lost today. I mean, whatever little profits we got today so far, which it may well hit 15 soon. So I don't know. And we're going to set our sell limit at the previous high for one and see if the other one can push through. So yeah, I'll be back and let's see how this hypothetical trade would have played out. Or watch I come back and our stop loss gets kicked in. Just a quick update, this hypothetical trade that we would have taken would have already sold. It went way beyond 15. It did hit 11, almost hitting 10. And also, more importantly, on VIX, we never made it back down past this level, this previous support. I was hoping it'd be resistance, but we're pushing beyond it. So One thing that's interesting about these rallies is, sorry guys, I'm sorry. Brain's not braining. No, was it 415? Oh yeah, that's the one I showed 416. What was I gonna say? Let's go back to SPY. Is if you can determine, let's look at TradingView. Sometimes you might miss the rally, but if you're ballsy and if you can determine where the rally might reject, you can take that rejection for short. And if you're doing options, of course, at this time of day, you definitely want to do an in the money or at the money. So let's look at it hypothetically. This candle started at 2 o'clock. Let's look at an in the money put. So at 2 o'clock, an in the money put would be at 415. All right, so let's look at 2 o'clock here. It's 2 o'clock here. So let's say we get in at 40. Let's say we got in late. We really waited and we got in. Sorry. You got in 10 options at 40, and then you held, hoping that what we just saw on VIX would happen. And here we are now at 70. So that's 40 bucks. So $400 right there off a $300 investment on this drop right here. So I don't know, there's some people who are really good at that. Some people are really good at catching the pivot points where after a rally, they'll know where to take it short. It's not as obvious here on Thinkorswim, but if we look at our TradingView and we look at it from the hour, remember 4175 was the spot where Adam Mancini gave his next target, and we pushed up just a little bit higher, and we're just below, sorry, the next resistance. For some reason, I have 4178 on my ES, if I recall. No. Yeah, I gotta change my SPY. All the numbers are wrong again. But we created a very clean supply. Let's go to a 15-minute. A very clean supply, not much of a retest, but you could have taken this short for a scalp right here. Because after a while, the rally is going to exhaust itself and a little pullback is going to occur. It was my hope in our hypothetical trade that that pullback would have occurred with a little bounce, so we can do a little quick scalp, but that didn't happen. And I'm glad we didn't take that trade. Look at this volume here. 19,000. I don't know what these people think is going to happen here. Or you know what? There's probably a bunch of people who bought in earlier in the day, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand these volumes sometimes on SPY. It makes no sense. Who would buy 19,000 options while it's going down? Anyways, I mean, unless these people they have some inside information and we're going to rally later. Wow, little extra drama there. Sorry. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, I don't know. This volume is weird. That's a big spike, so I have no idea what these people are thinking. Anyways. Okay, last update. Unfortunately, this never made it back up to 416, which is why, as you can see, we're losing value greatly. If instead of rejecting here, this had continued pushing up a little bit further, then this would have gone up into value pretty decent. And a hypothetical $18 trade might have yielded something, but as you can see, that didn't come to fruition. However, if we had instead chosen just one out the money or in the money trade, which I wasn't even looking at, I was doing my language lessons. We pulled back created a demand, tested a couple times, and then we pushed up. So I could have gotten in, sadly, if I was here watching a couple options at 15 and then taken this long, and you could see we pushed up to almost 50. So this would have been a good trade. In fact, days like this, when you're like one option, one strike out of the money, if the market rallies at the end of the day, you can make a significant amount of money. For example, if we got down to 15, so let's say we got into 10 options at 15, and before we hit 4 o'clock, actually technically we can still trade up to 4:15 on SPY. So let's say between now and 4:10, for example, this thing rockets up and we make a new high for the day. This could easily go from $15 to maybe 120 or more. So, and I used to love trading on Friday evenings, or I mean Friday afternoons, because it can really rocket at the end of the day. But look, here it is pushing now. And I couldn't get in if I wanted to, but if it pulled back here and I got in, maybe I could have taken advantage of it. But if it pushes here, you're going to see how high this goes. And remember, this is the 4:15 strike, so now we are officially in the money. So theta decay is no longer an issue as long as price remains at or above 4:15. But I don't know how much further this is going to push. And this video is already going to be very long for embarrassingly only a $10 trade, considering that SPY's or ES has moved up 1% for today. Yeah, you know what? In fact, I should go ahead and end this now. So